Hello, this is Miho recording this in Canada. So today I'm going to talk about perspective of life. This is something I've talked that a couple times before because it really hit my home, really changed the vision of life. And when I think back, what it is very simple. But when I was in a very negative loop, I didn't see this because it's just like this. I use the cup analogy a lot, but today I have this. It's like a shaker, right, with the lid. Okay, so this is the thing. It's a shaker with the lid. No matter how you look at it, right, that's what it is. But when you're stuck in one position or one perspective, for instance, you're looking from the top, and you see this, the black lid. But there are different ways of looking at things. For instance, from the bottom, you see clear, see through. And on the side, you see those water, dancing and see through and clear, right? One side has the letter S-A-V-A-S, Savas. Anyways, what I wanted to convey is that even though this is a thing or any issue, there are so many ways of looking at. And depending on how you look at things or how you want to stuck in one position or not, or be flexible at different, thoughts and process, it's all up to you. And once I was so stuck in one position, I couldn't see any clear water. All you see is just the black and solid. You can't go through. And you feel the whole life is like that. It's just something that you cannot conquer. It's more like you putting an invisible ceiling on top of your head that you can't get over. But that's something that you're doing it for yourself. And that's very tough to realize, but when you understand there are different ways of looking at things, you start to think, oh, there might be a different ways of solving this, a different ways of looking at this person. It could be very angry, it seems very scary, but maybe from behind they have such a sensitive heart. In order to protect that, maybe they put a very, hard personality. Those things, they start to come, so you don't stuck on one position, so you don't get upset right away, you don't react right away to people's words or behaviors. You start to realize there are different parts to it, so that you can apply to your life. And when I start realizing that, okay, there are different ways of looking at things, your vision widen, your heart of acceptance get wider, and you start to see better or more understanding for the things that happen in your life. Because you start looking at a different perspective. Things that happen to you that really cause bad taste or the wound your heart, but on the other hand, you needed to go through to see how that feels like. Unless you go through a certain experience, you cannot really tell what it is like. It's like being pregnant. You can describe as much as you want, but until you go through it, you don't know what the morning sickness is like, what discomfort you go through, or what kind of complication you might be facing, or you just have no idea until you go through it. Even you go through it, you don't experience every bits and parts of it. So there's so many different variations of certain experience. But in order to feel, in order to go through that phase, you become more empathy, you become more kind, or you become kinder to the others because you understand better what it's like. So you might need it, that experience. You might have been, you need to have that phase in order to grow, you as a person. So when you think that way, all the people who did bad things to you, it seems that way, but maybe they are pretending to be a villain just to give that feeling so that you can actually experiencing it in real time. Then you learn a good valuable things out of it. So when you start to looking at the different perspective of your life, you start to change your life, and you start to change how you do your jobs, or how to play and how to spend your life for better, so that you can enjoy your life so much better. Even though you have a little tiny time slot, but you can really enjoy what you like to do, and you can really listen to what really love to do, instead of just ignoring or pushing aside because you have this, you have no the time, or too busy, or no money, and all those excuses you used to come up with. But now you start to find a way out, find a way through. Oh, I could do it this way instead, or I could use it this instead, or you start to have a different visions, different ideas. And you might get into the fight in the mode with your family members or your spouse, but it could be needed in order to really let it out. It's almost like all those suppressed feelings inside, and something triggered, and it had to come out to discuss what you're really feeling, because we are all growing, right? So it's like a checkpoint. You need to collect the thoughts together, and where you're at, where that person's at, and we kind of confirm and collect the thoughts. So it's like a very high volume, high energetic communication. It sounds like arguments, but it might be needed in order to get really tight and closer as a couple or the family member. And you just also start to lower your expectations on others. And when you do that way, you appreciate everything that on top of it. So you put your heart all down, and then whatever that happens above, it's a bonus. For instance, your health. Okay, you expect to be maybe 20 years old, but you're not 20 years old. So when you get up, when you feel good enough to breathe, or you have good health to eat food, enjoy your food, that's good enough. You're moving, all the parts are moving, and then everything on top of that is a bonus, right? So that you could start really look at your life and the health part in a different perspective, and you wanted to improve more, and you could do that. And also that your energy, where you put the energy on. Do you want to spend the time and energy with people who always talk bad about people, or putting down, or always looking for some sort of trouble, stir up the things to make a trouble? It takes so much energy to be in it, because you're not in the same vibration. You're not really enjoying that low level of the energy. So instead, you choose who you want to be with, because if you become the part of that group where you start putting people down or talk about bad, negative things, your energy level goes down with that level, so that you operate from that low energy level that sucks a lot of energy out of you. And you feel that way, it becomes uncomfortable. That means your level is going up, right? So that you don't want to waste energy on that level. So you reserved energy on things that you really enjoy, you really like, or you spend the time with people you really respect and have some sort of connection with, good connection with. And you start to sort out your time and how much you spend on those people, right? Instead of just dragging myself into those circle of people. And that really changes your life too, because who you hang out with makes your life as well. And of course, there's nothing wasted experience in your life. Everything is something you learn from. And when you find yourself repeating over and over and over, that's the sign that you need to really click and get out of it, because you're in this vicious cycle, right? And if you don't get it, it will come back to you in a different phase. So it seems like it's a different event, but the core part is the same thing. You need to get over it, or you need to really, cut the continuation and to move on. So when you start thinking that there are different ways of looking at things, you start look for solution instead of dwelling on the same feelings or same mistakes over and over. That really damages your mind and heart, because it takes so much energy to do it, and it doesn't really help you. So when you feel uncomfortable, that's the sign that you need to shift your thinking. You need to find a different solutions. And when you put your mind into finding solutions, it really start looking. Your brain has this mechanism to look for a solution when you put your thoughts to it. So different perspective, it really triggers those function, the wonderful function in your brain. So it will bring, the information or the people that you're looking for, and you grab that and you try to apply to your life. So having the information, having the knowledge itself do nothing to you. It's just having, the food in your hand. But until you consume it, it doesn't really, digest it in your body to make your body. So having the knowledge, having information, it's just the thing until you digest it, which means you apply and into your real life. So then you try and error, some things work, something doesn't, and you keep at it. And when you keep at it, which means you keep going forward, so that you will find something different, something better. So when you're sitting still, or when you're still mode, it takes so much energy to do that as a human, because it creates the resistance to stay still. So it's best to keep moving and keep you going forward. Okay, so hope this helps to look at the different perspective. And this is something that you can learn. It's a skill to do it. And once you get hang of it, you will notice that even though you face the similar situation, your reaction changed. Maybe you used to get really upset quickly, but now you're very calm about it, and then it doesn't really get you as much. So that's the sign that you've shifted. And then you can go on to the next level. So hope this helps, and see you next video. Bye-bye.